I just finished Severance Season 2, Episode 4, Woe's Hollow. And I feel like I'm speaking for all of us when I say, what the actual fuck? This is going to be a spoiler-filled review, so if you haven't watched this episode yet, do not continue. Save this to watch later and come back when you've seen it. I'm Real Slim KD25. Let's get into it. First, I always like talking about what's in the recap. This recap showed so many of Kier's paintings, including when they're talking about, oh, he's standing so close to the edge, right before they wake up on a cliff. And let me say, that's a cold harbor. That actually might not be a harbor. I fear I'm not sure what a harbor is. It's like a watery place, for sure. But it's definitely cold. Such an interesting episode because, like, regardless of what's happening, like the mind fuck of what's happening, you're watching innies who have been outside maybe once before, explore the outdoors. Like, can you imagine not knowing what outside is, but being an adult and like having the idea of outside in your brain? Like, as a kid, you don't know what you're not experiencing, so that when you experience it for the first time, it's like, oh, that's cool. But to be an adult and have a concept of something so vast as the outdoors and not know what that is, what it's really like, what a fascinating concept. And I love when Dylan's like, I knew there wouldn't be a ceiling, but followed up immediately by a Milchick jump scare on the TV. And I feel like he's always entering with jump scares. Now, the concept of this episode leaves me with like so many questions, as everybody, I feel like. And it ultimately just leads back to like, what the fuck is Lumen doing? Like, what are these mind games for? Like, what is the work that they're doing that's so important? And ultimately, what are they studying these employees for? What is this experiment or what that's happening? And like, obviously the work they're doing is important, but it just like always leads back to like, what are they fucking with in their minds? Like, why are they fucking with them so much? If they were really going on a retreat, why wouldn't they just tell them the day before they clocked out at work? Like, why would they surprise wake them up in an igloo? Or not in an igloo, but like, you know what I mean? Like in the Arctic. And I know it's not the Arctic. I know it's a forest, but it's like cold. Any place that's ice is basically Arctic. So like, what's the deal? I really thought, especially once we started seeing these doubles, these twins that Lumen has granted them, that maybe we'd get more intel about the potential cloning, especially with the past episodes of seeing the goats and the pineapple theme over and over again. But ironically, even though we see them, we don't get more context on this at all. And I think Irving isn't just speaking for the innies, but also for the audience when he says, we don't know anything. Which is, I think, the sum of the show. I think every time I try to think of what's going to happen next, I just embarrass myself because I don't know anything. I'm thinking about this show nonstop. It's in my head, rent-free. But ultimately, like, the show is so much smarter than me, you know what I mean? And hey, what a big day for everybody who's been saying that Helly never came back this season. You're right. And more importantly, Irving was right. Irving was right the entire time. And it's not like they even really wait till the end of the episode to tell us. The scene where Irving and Helly are in the tent together, and just that piece of acting is fantastic. I could definitely see that scene in this episode getting Brett Lauer a total award season nod. I mean, that look alone was like, so good. Also, Milchick almost had me for a minute. At the campfire, I literally thought they were going to be like just pulling his leg. It's a campfire story. Also, what a fucking power trip. What a waste of printed marshmallows. Also, fuck you, Helena. We all know Irving's upset because he'll never see Bert again, and he's really lonely? Jesus fucking Christ. And also to be gaslit after that came out of her mouth by his friends is insane. So Lumen's so fucking scary. If you just wanted to give them light, you would give them a flashlight, not a torch. It's like they were asking for somebody to get killed, and I was really worried that Irving was going to hurt himself. And you know what? I'll be honest. The Helly Mark sex scene didn't even really do it for me. And I think it's because it's not Helly. Like, there's zero romance between Helena and Mark. And that's like one of the big things I'm thinking about in this episode is, so like, why did she sleep with him? Was she attracted to Mark, like, as her outie, or was she doing it because it's something that Helly would do? And Mark being like, I don't care who you are on the outside. I don't think that's right. And that's, like, probably the most fucked up part. And knowing ultimately, like, this innie, like, will never get to live out whatever life he wants. Unless we get a true clone. I'm also really interested in terms of reintegration, how much of this Mark will absorb as he goes back. Because we understand that that went down last episode, but like not to the full extent of like what memories he's having, and especially this episode was not really from Mark's perspective. And if Mark was fully integrated the entire time and Outie Mark was present and understanding everything, then he did a really good job of hiding it in front of everybody else. The one thing I did like about their romance scene was the very cool shot of Irving freezing in the blue cold and going back to the shot of them making love, the red tones right next to the heater. I thought that was very interesting. And here's where it keeps getting weirder. When Irving wakes up in the suit, he goes over to the pseudo MDR desk. He sees Bert. He sees Woe. Woe, who is scary, by the way. Scary. And you know what else were scary? Those numbers. Those were some of the scariest numbers I've ever seen. They were running all over that page. What a really weird nightmare. Also, innies when they sleep? And if it actually was a dream, they say that, in dreams, you can only really dream of things you've seen with your own eyes. Or things that you've imagined, right? But man, I don't think that was a dream. I also don't think this is a real forest. I mean, I think it's a real forest, but it's what would the risks be of taking them to an actual place? I don't know what I think it is, but even if it is real forest, obviously it must be complete private property, but I'm not even sold on it being a real forest. You could tell me this whole show is it's all in their brains or some shit, and I'd be like, I don't know, baby. But I wouldn't be surprised, since we can manufacture so many images and memories for innies, if they manufactured that dream as well. It felt so real. And we know they have cloning technology, so who's to say they can't make a clone of Bert as well? Now, we obviously didn't get to see their twins up close at all, if they talk, if they hold memories. So there's a lot of looming questions there. Looming questions? Looming questions? Get it? 'Cause lumen. Also, you can tell that I got so locked into the episode because I just stopped taking notes after this point because I was just so deep in this show. Irving comes back with a vengeance. And you know what? He asks a really good question. Why was Helena down there? Why? Hoping to run into Irving? And was that fucking smart? Admittedly, Helena did feel guilt about it. Acknowledged that what she said was cruel. And God, I fucking hate Helena. Because she, not only is she corrupt enough to, actually do all of this and support this company and do this to people, but the fact that she's fucking lying to their faces, that really pisses me off. And it's confusing, too, because I feel like we saw her get in the elevator and see the switch in her eyes. So, also, this show just plays mind games, and, that's just, that's okay. That's how it goes. I read this article that said that Helena might not have wanted her innie to come back because obviously her innie tried to hurt herself. And there is risk there, right? In their physical bodies. We can assume, because obviously they talk about, if you eat something as your innie, your outie still experiences that. So we can assume any physical damage taken would be real and true to this body. Which also raises the question of, why would they take them to a real forest where they could freeze overnight? And why didn't Irving freeze overnight? And why didn't they just build a building? If this is their forest, why didn't they build a cabin or something? Or something, Really wonderful design, by the way, of this, the big, beautiful black fur coats and Milchick in the all white. It was a really, really great design choice. And seeing him be such a fucking asshole, it's But man, when Irving grabs her and he starts waterboarding her, and the moment where she admits, "Do it, Seth!" And he just looks up, he says, "Do it, Seth!" Oh! This is television! This is why I fucking watch television. This is why. It's because I care so much about Irving, because I've watched him for so long, that even though this is his final episode as an innie, what a way to go. Actually crazy that they basically fucking kill him. Now, just because they do that, that doesn't mean that they couldn't bring him back. Obviously, the outie has a lot to do, and there's a lot there left in the story, obviously trying to connect with Bert, recreating paintings. But also, since Lumen has the power to take away his life, they also have the power to give it back. So, I don't know. I do feel like this is a very definitive end of that chapter, but anything is possible, especially in this show. Also, speaking of award season noms, I mean, come on, this episode for John Turturro was epic. Was pretty epic. Him getting face to face with Milchick. And also he had the satisfaction of knowing he was right. And I don't think Helly would be mad at him. Really, truly, I don't believe Helly would be mad at him for doing that at all. And I don't think Mark or Dylan would either. The question is they've let them keep all these crazy fucking memories. Do they let them keep knowing this? That this happened? Because surely them knowing Helly is an Egan. I mean, that's gotta have some consequences, no? But it would be really weird if the show backtracked and like took that information away from the innies. I feel like that would just like literally not make any forwards progress for the characters or for the story. But how do they let them have that knowledge and keep going? God damn it. I just need it to be this time next week, like right now. It also just like doesn't make sense. Like, why would Helly put herself in danger, put any of them in danger, unless they weren't in any real danger? But clearly, she put herself in danger. She was getting real life waterboarded in a freezing waterfall. Also, there's no way that's the tallest waterfall. That's not even that tall of a waterfall. Have I seen a waterfall in real life? No. But I know that one is not the tallest. It can't be the tallest. It's not that tall. Anyways, can somebody just tell me what happened in the episode? Because I'm lost. Like, what did you guys think? What do you think this is? Where does this go? Where is this going? Please let me know, because honestly, I'm so lost. Also, if you like this video, me and my best friend Louie make videos like this all the time, talking about movies, comics, and everything geeky. Check us out. And if you like this video, the best thing you could do is leave us a like and subscribe for more content. But I don't know. My brain is so fried. It's times like this that I wish I could sever. Just kidding. I severed a long time ago. I'll take my brain right elsewhere. See you later. Bye!